Yo, yo, yo. Today I figured why not do something a little bit different? There's this sick application website called Drumstructor. Drumstructor, I think I said that right. And a lot of people make custom kits on here. And a lot of people have taken their time to make some of my favorite drum kits. So I figured we'd go through the Rev and Brooks Wackerman's drum kit today, kind of look at some of the differences. The only thing with Brooks is he hasn't really changed his setup much. He's changed from wood to acrylic and then different color acrylic. So we're just going to be looking at his current kit. But with the Rev, he obviously had quite an evolution of different kits. So I figured we'd start with the first one. I'm going to put the person's name on screen here who made this awesome whole thing of every kit the Rev used. So we're going to go through and look at all of these one by one. So first off is the one he used during the Awaken the Fallen to early City of Evil era. Obviously with the Rev, we're talking all DW drums, Evans drumheads, Sabian cymbals. So fairly simple setup. The only thing that really catches my eye is the fact that he has his floor tom on a rack, or I guess up on a drum stand, way up high, as well as that China is super high up there, man. So I'm pretty sure they went and got all the exact symbols. So we have some A7X, some HHX, and I think he always used, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he always used a bronze snare. I know he did towards the end of his life and career. So we've got an interesting setup. I wonder if he actually just had a little splash on a stand like this, because that'd be kind of funny, having to unload all of that and then get your little stand for your splash. But pretty typical setup. I guess I can't say it's too typical just because of the way those toms are mounted. Up next we have his first double bass kit, which would have came towards the middle of some of the City of Evil stuff, maybe still towards the beginning, depending on what shows they were playing. Obviously, he also had some different kits whenever he were to travel to Europe for a while before they got their own gear in Europe. This one's looking pretty similar. I don't think he used Axis pedals. I know that's like a default thing on Drumstructor. This one's pretty similar, just with the addition of that rack tom right here, the small rack tom, and the other kick drum, which the Rev, obviously, he was one to use both kick drums. There are quite a few drummers who just have multiple kick drums on just for the stage presence. The Rev and Brooks are ones to use both kick drums. So aside from that, it looks like we do have a splash mounted in between these right here. Obviously, we have no double ride yet on either of those. This is a pretty simple setup. It looks like they're kind of got smushed over here. Two crashes. Still a pretty simple setup, especially compared to what we're going to be seeing here in a second. Up next is labeled as the City of Evil era. So this is a kit that there are tons of photos of Jimmy in. One of his most iconic kits. This is actually the kit that they had part of it broken down for the Avenged Sevenfold VIP. I don't know if they still do it, but they did during the stage tour. And I got to actually sit at the kick drum, and I think the snare was there, maybe the hi-hat, which was insane. One of the moments of all time for me. It's that kind of brownish kit, DW collectors, and we start getting a little bit more going on behind the kit. We start seeing a lot more going on back here. Still the toms super high. I mean, that's something I don't think he ever changed. But we start to get a second China, another splash over here. I don't think he had any splashes up here, which is interesting. Once again, just such a clean setup. Such a clean setup. Before we go on to the big one, we have another White Album kit. This kit's on here. I'm not sure where this kit is from. I think they did say they used some kits that were used in music videos. The guy on Drumstructor who made this. This could be from a music video. This could be a kit he used overseas, potentially. But kind of the same idea as that black kit over there, just a different color. Up next, super iconic White Album era tribute to Lars on this kit. I mean, the white with black hardware has always done it for me. Absolutely insanely fire. So over top, we've got sort of the same cymbal setup, it looks like. We do have a splash right here. I don't really remember. I think it was on this bigger kit. He put some splashes up near the toms. But still pretty much the same kit, just different colors. Except for the addition of this other China. Pretty much the same kit, just different colors. Super sick. Now we move on to kit we've all been waiting for. This would be the Taste of Chaos kit, is what I like to call it, because he used it during Live in the LBC, Taste of Chaos. This is the one that is visible at the Hard Rock Casino in Las Vegas. I still haven't gone to see it yet. I think this white one's actually visible on the wall. It's not set up. It's hung on the wall at the Hard Rock in Nashville. I haven't seen that one either. This kit, obviously iconic 3 bass drums. Obviously, he's not playing all 3 of them. This is when we start adding a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, it sucks. It sucks that this was his most recent kit. I mean, it sucks that he never got to explore as much with this kit as he should have. I mean, who knows what would have come of him, living longer and getting more, doing more writing on a kit this big, because this is just massive. I mean, we add, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4 rack toms, 2 floor toms, 3 kick drums, a ton of cymbals, man. We got the other ride over here. Finally, we got his main ride over here, China. We have a massive crash over here, a whole bunch of splashes just all around. I think there's like 4 of them and one of the chopper splashes in here. And we've got 2 crashes up here and a ride, which is just super sick. And then I believe this is when he was using that bell bronze DW snare. Incredible, man. Definitely is a life goal of mine to go to Vegas at some point. I will definitely be taking a video if I do that, just to go visit this kit. But man, insane. All right, and then we have Brooks Wackerman's kit, which he's honestly kept it the same pretty much. I mean, he switched out his snare a couple of times and the color and the type of material of his drums. He used to have wood drums, but he's been on acrylic drums for a while. DW Collector Series acrylic in this like ruby red. Fun fact, the only way to get a DW Collector Series acrylic is to be an endorsed artist from DW. So if not, you'd have to try to find one on the used market or get yourself the Design Series acrylic, which I have behind me. Pretty sick setup. His is super ergonomic. I love the way it's set up. Whereas like the Rev has a lot of uncomfortable looking spacing, especially like between the hats and the snare. Some of the cymbals are kind of way far out, whereas Brooks is like kind of dialed in for ergonomics. Having his 2 hi-hat set up, he has like a 17-inch Exist Dry Darks over here, 15-inch Mantras over here. And yeah, I mean, he's got his Exist prototype ride, which is super sick. It has the bigger bell on it just for the double ride stuff he does. But absolutely a huge fan of his setup. And honestly, it's kind of a goal to get my setup one day to this size, which is the cool thing with the DW Design Series, that I can buy the additional pieces, as I go. Another thing that's interesting is he does have some cymbals mounted from the bass drum, and then he's kind of got these rack ends. He's got his massive gong as well. He uses in Save Me and Death. I believe those are the only songs he uses it in. But yeah, just doing like a quick comparison over here. Obviously, massive differences, but honestly not too different from the Rev's original setups. I know the spacing is kind of weird on here. I know in real life it was probably a little bit closer, but it's not too different from the way the Rev originally had it set up. I mean, It's just, like I said, a total shame that we never got to see Jimmy play with this kit more, because, man, what a setup. And I cannot wait to one day go visit it in person. Well, if you guys enjoyed this style of content, maybe give me some other drummers I can look at. I know the community on Drumstructor is crazy. They've basically built out every single drum kit in existence. I'm thinking of doing something in a bit of a different genre, all of Josh Dunn from 21 Pilots setups, because there's people that have made every single era. It'd be cool to go through each of those as they've progressed. If you guys have some more suggestions, I'll definitely try to get to that. If there's other styles of content maybe you'd like to see from me, leave that in the comments and I'll be checking all that out. But until next time, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.